you wondered if there's a cordless stick vacuum that has the same performance as a Dyson, but for a lot cheaper? Well, let me introduce you to the Bissell PowerClean FurGuard, Bissell's best Dyson killer, because this is going to be the best cordless stick vacuum Bissell has ever made. Not only has Bissell made and finally made a cordless stick vacuum that's powerful, but it's also light, and that's the game changer here, because historically Bissell cordless stick vacuums have been heavy. I would not be able to do this and hold it in one hand for 5-10 minutes at a time with the Bissell PowerGlide, because those things weighed about 10 pounds. Now the Bissell FurGuard is going to weigh 7.3 pounds, which makes it just a little bit heavier than the Dyson V11 that's in my hand. So this is the Dyson V8 and this is the FurGuard. If we just check out how easy it is to push it forward and back, they're equally as easy. But if we check the swivel, because the Dyson is using the ball, in terms of turning it, it is much easier than if you're trying to do it on the Bissell. The Bissell is going to be way more clunky, and I wouldn't say clumsy, but just clunkier than how easy it is to do everything on the Dyson. Because historically, Bissell has always been trying to get the most power inside of their machines. And they've always leaned on the side of reliability and caution, so a majority of their units have been very heavy relative to its peers. So we're going to run some vacuum tests here. So our first tests are going to be with pasta and rice. So we're going to do one level with this big pasta. And we got some rice as well. On our first test, we're going to use both on medium power, and you will not notice a difference in terms of the suction power here on the rice. Where you will notice a difference in terms of the overall performance is when you get to the larger macaroni. And I think that's related to the suction power on the Dyson on its lower setting, on the V8 specifically, is not as powerful as medium mode on your FurGuard. So on the FurGuard, it does a better job picking up all of these larger particles. And because the Bissell's brush roll is motorized and very powerful and it spins very aggressively, you can see that it's going to start breaking up and cracking these macaronis inside of the brush roll, and you'll start getting pieces inside of the tank. So minding all of the hair inside, this is going to be our Bissell. And you can see how much it picked up. It picked up all the macaroni, and our V8 did not pick up any macaroni. And that's because that's actually just a function of its motor head. But at the same time, the Bissell is so powerful and the motor head is so powerful that it was cracking the macaroni inside. So you can hear that cracking, and that's how it picked up so much of it at the same time. And the motor head is really where Bissell is drawing the gap between the Bissell and the Dyson, because the Dyson does not come with this extremely powerful motor head. And this is because it uses 10 watts of power, and it's also easy to clean. So if I just want to clean it, I can pop that open and I can remove the roller itself. And that will allow me to empty and clean it, including on the inside. You can see that there's combs here for better anti-detangling, and all of the suction power is going to go right up the port in the middle. So this has a little spring inside that makes it jump up. So you don't really have to pull it up, but there's a little spring inside, and then when you want to lock it, you just put that down on your FurGuard and clip it in. The Dyson V8, the Dyson Digital Slim, and other Dysons use this standard motor head here, and it's a really good one because they have that anti-tangle design, and they're going to be very simple to use. And if I flip it around, you can see that it's also easy to clean. And this is in contrast to the Bissell. The Bissell is going to come with a light, so it comes with its own LEDs, something you usually require the fluffy optic brush from Dyson to get a light. So we're going to try the Dyson V8 on max power versus the Fur Finder, and we're going to see which one is going to be better for this type of mess, which is going to be pet hair, rice, oatmeal, as well as elbow macaroni. So we're going to put this on max. Max. So because we added oatmeal and a lot of long hair, we're talking 13 to 14 inch blue hair to this test, we're going to see how everything does and if the tangles are going to clog up your brush roll, or if it's going to be able to unclog and detangle itself. So if you're looking at the brush roll closely, you'll notice that this blue hair on the Dyson as well as on the Bissell are just starting to disappear because they're getting pulled into the center. And on max power, the Dyson V8 and the Bissell are going to feel equally as powerful. Then it just comes down to the brush roll, and the Dyson's brush roll does work better on max power. So just to share with you how much hair we actually picked up, this is everything that was picked up inside of the Bissell. So we're just opening the bin here. So between the Bissell and the Dyson V8, similar amount of debris between the two. Now let's check out the side brush. Now let's check out the motor brushes here. So on the motor brush on our Bissell, we're gonna pop it open. So after picking up most of the hair, there's still a little bit hair on the brush. But if you were to continue running this, I would be confident that that hair would also be sucked in. And then that's gonna be in contrast to the Dyson, which has its own hair removal vanes here. And if we spin this around, you can see on our Dyson, it did also trap some hair in the center, and that's because the hair removal vanes are not in the center. Next, let's talk about attachments. So with your Bissell FurGuard, you're going to be getting the Fur Finder tool, and this Fur Finder tool is substantial. It's heavy duty, and that's going to be the brush roll inside. So it's not the most elegant attachment, but it's going to be very functional, as well as this gives you a button that you can just pop open and you can clean your brush and remove it, and that means you can clean this easily. This is going to be powered, so it's a 25.2 volt 5-watt brush inside. So if you're trying to compare attachments, the corkscrew versus the Fur Finder, well, let's try it on this mess. So we're going to turn it on. It's going to be on max. We're going to turn our Dyson V8 max. As a hand vacuum, I would say that you have more concentrated power inside of the Dyson V8. The corkscrew is going to feel more premium, and you're going to feel more lift, more suction power when you're applying it on the floor. However, in terms of overall effectiveness, the Fur Finder tool, as long as you have the space to use it and it's not too heavy for you, this is gonna be pretty much identical performance to your Dyson. Not a huge difference there. And I do appreciate that it has the LEDs so that I can see exactly what I'm picking up. So when you turn it off and you turn it back on, it'll always want to be on medium, so that you will have to turn it up again to maximum, versus you have that kind of analog button on the Dyson. So once you have it on max, anytime you turn it on, it'll be on max. The Bissell FurGuard will come with an additional attachment here, and this is going to be a crevice tool that you can also be into a brush, depending on how you want to use it. And if you're looking at the Dyson, they'll come with their dusting brush, their crevice tool. So we're going to run the same test with our Bissell FurGuard on our V11. Let's just empty out the V8. Medium. So we're going to do this test on both on medium instead of max. For all my praises on the Bissell PowerClean FurGuard, do not get mistaken. The Dyson V11 is definitely going to be more expensive, but the suction power is also going to be more powerful. If you have this on max power, you will definitely be able to tell how much more powerful the Dyson V11 is than the FurGuard. The Dyson is literally trying to pull up the tile on this floor, while the Bissell is moving around. Very good suction, but nothing like what you're getting with the Dyson. So we're going to run the same test with the hair, the oatmeal, the rice, and the pasta on carpet now to see which one performs better on carpet. So we're testing the Bissell FurGuard versus the Dyson V8 on carpet now. So we got it on max. We're going to turn both on their max suction power. On carpet, the Dyson V8 and the Bissell are going to have comparable performance if you have it on the max suction power. I would even say that the Dyson feels like it has better suction on carpet than the Bissell does. However, if you just have them on their normal modes, the Dyson, because on eco mode or the lower setting on the V8, is just not as powerful as the Bissell on medium, you're going to get better performance on the Bissell and better battery life, because to have the similar performance or better performance on the Dyson V8, you basically need to be on max mode all the time. And if you do compare the max suction power on the Bissell FurGuard versus the Dyson V11 on carpeted or rug floors, depending on which brush you're using, the Dyson V11 is still going to feel much more powerful. It will basically be trying to lift up your carpets and rugs if you have it on max suction power. The Bissell, even on its highest setting,
so let's talk about the Bissell versus the Dyson in terms of their specifications. So the Bissell FurGuard is going to weigh 7.3 pounds, and that's in contrast to 6.7 pounds on the V11, 5.8 pounds on the V8, and 4.4 pounds on the Dyson Digital Slim, the lightest of all the Dysons. In terms of overall power, your V11 is coming with a 185 air watt motor. Your Bissell here is coming with a 280 watt motor, not air watts, so it's not going to be the same. And your Dyson V8 comes with the 115 air watt motor, and your Dyson Digital Slim comes with a 100 air watt motor. So the cyclonic action and the hyperdynia motors are basically similar between all of the Dyson line, except you're getting bigger motors as well as bigger and more cyclones on the bigger V11 than what you get on the V8 or the Dyson Digital Slim. And if you're talking about battery life, it's important to note that the figures that the brands give you are basically if you run them on the lowest setting at the lowest speeds. So you have the Dyson V8 here. It's going to give you 40 minutes of runtime on Eco. The Digital Slim will give you 40 minutes of runtime on Eco, and they come with the smallest batteries. In terms of overall charge time, this is where Bissell is changing the game. They have put a faster charger inside. So to get from 0 to 100 is only going to take 3 hours. And that's in contrast to something like on the V8, which takes closer to about 4.5 hours, maybe even 5 depending on your battery health, and 4.5 hours on your Dyson V11, and about 3.5–4 hours on your Digital Slim. And another difference between the Bissell and the Dysons is that the Bissell is going to be using a button. So it allows you to turn it on just by pressing a button and change the speed just by pressing a button. That's in contrast to things like the Bissell V11 and the V8 that you have to hold down the trigger. And if you're not holding down the trigger, it's not going to be on. You can adjust the speed by a switch here, and on your V11, you're going to be having a button that you can adjust the speed, but you're not going to be able to turn it on unless you're holding down the trigger, something that your Bissell lets you do just by pressing a button. Another key point is going to be a removable battery. Your Dyson Digital Slim does come with a removable battery. Your Dyson V8, depending on which edition you have, will not come with a removable battery. Your Bissell does come with a removable battery, and your Dyson V11, again, depending on which edition you have, will either come with one that has a removable battery or doesn't. The Bissell is also able to stand up on its own. So unlike the Dysons, which have to be put on a mount or leaned on something, as you see me trying to do here, our Bissell, it could just stand. Ultimately, what's my verdict on the Bissell PowerClean FurGuard? I still stand by my statement after running all these tests and using it for the past month, that the Bissell FurGuard here is Bissell's best cordless stick vacuum. So if you're someone who has pets or reliability is a big concern of yours, or you're just looking to save yourself some money, I think the Bissell FurGuard, the PowerClean FurGuard, is going to be the best value of the bunch here, and that's because it has similar performance to your Dyson V11. It's going to be similar price to your Dyson Digital Slim, even cheaper than the Digital Slim when it's on sale, and it's going to be coming with features that none of these other Dysons are coming with, including LEDs on the motor head as well as the fur finder attachments. It's coming with a button, and it's going to be able to stand up on its own. But at the same time, if you're looking for the best performance, you are not going to be able to beat the Dyson V11, because the Dyson V11 is more expensive than the Bissell. It's true.
And all things being equal, if you're preferring a lighter weight package, the Dyson V8 is going to be a better lighter weight package than the Bissell FurGuard. It's just going to be more expensive, which means it's not going to be as good of a value.
And you cannot sleep that Bissell's customer service as well as their warranty is very good. It is better than Dyson. So what Bissell is giving you a 5-year warranty, limited warranty depending on where you buy it, and it's going to give you the option to get replacement parts when you need it. And that's the secret here. Bissell's reliability as well as their functionality is really dependent on you being able to repair and fix your Bissell. Because when you get a Dyson, if anything happens to your Dyson, especially outside of the warranty period, it's basically you need to get a new Dyson. So with that, thanks for watching everybody. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. I try my best to showcase what the differences between these cordless stick vacuums are so you can save yourself some money, and I appreciate you watching this video. So I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Glow signing off. Bye, bye, bye.